sunny with never a sigh. Don't
Well, we raised the curtain on Crazy for You, a romantic comedy musical with a book by Ken Ludwig, lyrics by Ira Gershwin, music by George Gershwin. Crazy for You scrapes away decades of cabaret and jazz and variety show interpretations to reclaim the Gershwins' standards in all their glorious youth for the dynamism of the stage. And what a great description for the show that I saw last night. And I want to welcome here Jill Gorrie, the choreographer of the San Diego edition of Crazy for You, and Don LeMaster, musical director of the newest production. Welcome, you guys. It's great to have you here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I have to first, the risk of sounding like a starstruck stage door Johnny, you know, that was a fantastic show last night. Really, I'm speechless. It was amazing. It was great theater, man.
Thank you.
I think that's what we're striving for, right?
Yes.
Well, it was opening night, so of course there were jitters on your part, I'm sure, but completely needlessly. I mean, it just came off wonderfully. So I want to talk about the show, and I want to talk about you guys. First, I want to say, Donnell, I'm in the presence of greatness here.
Oh, God.
What did you do to get that pit band together? Where did you find your people? Did you do a lot of auditioning?
I actually don't audition people so much, but when we did start 12 years ago, I knew a few people in San Diego. So I kind of relied on them to send me to other people because I had been working out of town a lot. So when I got back into San Diego theater, quote unquote, I had to find people. And so over the 12 years, I don't know how many we have now, but you know, you have your number one, and then you have your number two and your number three, and you know, you go with who's available. I send out my feelers to everyone, and then whoever's not available, I go to the next person and the next person, because we have a wealth of musicians now, and they're all very, very, very talented people.
Jill, you're no stranger there either. This is your fourth production, I think.
Fourth or fifth, I believe.
Fifth production. Oh, and what did you start with?
A Singing in the Rain,
Okay.
which was 2014.
Okay. Okay. You both have quite a track record over there. And I have to say, too, what a gorgeous theater, the Horton Grand. This is a wonderful place to see a great show. Tell me about the singers that you've got here. You've really got a whole variety of great voices.
Yes, those we actually audition.
You do audition those, yeah. And you found some gems. Your Polly is just really a find, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's very, very special. Not to Jill Gorrie, the choreographer. Jill, I was struck by how funny this show is too. In everything, not just in the book, but in the movements, in the dance, in the business. Everything. There's laughs every second of the show, practically.
It is. It's true.
That must have been fun to build dancing around all that humor.
It is, and it's true musical comedy. You know, there can be a difference between musical theater and musical comedy, and this is a true comedy. The book is funny. It's hysterical, and that takes fine skill in directing comedy too. And we have a wonderful director, Kirsten Chandler, who got those comedic moments just right, and that takes a lot of rehearsal.
Even this few sad scenes are funny. You know, the inebriated scene between the two male principals sitting drunk at the table, moaning about their lost love. That's a very funny scene.
It is, and it's well crafted originally by the book writer, and then the original direction on Broadway, and so. But then we have to, when we're putting up our production here in San Diego, we have to recreate that, and it's hard, and you have to have skilled actors, and the timing must be impeccable.
Yes.
And so, but when it works, and it is comical.
Well, we talked about the constraints musically that Don has with this tiny room and 17 people, but you have your own set of constraints because you have this tiny stage and about 150 people, it seems like, on stage.
Oh, well, good.
I mean, honestly, it's like the clown car in the circus. Yeah. They just keep coming. In fact, there is one scene like a clown car. It's not like a clown car. It is a clown car, effectively, where the women keep coming out of this little tiny car. And I was kind of brought Barnum and Bailey to mind with that scene. But you have challenges all the way through. Maneuvering all those people around you've just done a masterful job.
All the pieces come together wonderfully in this production. And I think in speaking about that story, my favorite piece of choreography is the moment when Bobby and Polly actually fall in love. So in musical theater, we have to suspend, disbelief, right? We have to force or give the audience a reason to believe, just let go and believe that it's possible for two human beings to fall in love in one song, which happens to be Shall We Dance. And I think the challenge in a number like that is that from the beginning, I don't know how long that number is, maybe a couple, 3 minutes, maybe.
3.5.
From the beginning, the start of it, to the end, by the end, we need to believe that they've fallen in love, and through dance and music. And so story first and then dance steps for me. And in that moment, it's trying to figure out how to portray the flirting and the give and take, and when he's sort of leading her and when she's leading him physically but emotionally. And the music, for me, the music comes first.
Well, we were thinking as we were listening to it last night that this is the radio station where you're going to hear Gershwin.
Yes.
So our audience should really love this music. And one other thing, Jill, I wanted to say, the young people that you have in the show, I was flabbergasted when I found out that 3 of them are high school people.
Yes, I think in the past it had always been that we hired only adults 18 and older. But in the past couple years, I'd say, or was Hairspray the first?
Yeah, we now have these pre-professional productions that we put on, and we're getting introduced to these fantastic teenage kids who are good enough to be in these productions of ours. So I think that's kind of helped spawn it. But isn't that what it's for? Pre-professional, production, to get these people used to get the younger people used to a professional production. And then because of that, I think that's what has led to us hiring these younger people.
Obviously, in the past, if there had been a role in a show that required a child, a youth, then a child was hired. But these 3 young women in our show that are high schoolers are playing showgirls, New York showgirls, and it's they have stepped up and they have integrated with the professional and adults beautifully, and I think for them, what an amazing experience.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure working with them.
But I want to go back, Don, for just a minute to the music and talk about this incredible band that you have crammed into this tiny space. You were saying nobody does this. This is you guys, because one other place has an orchestra this size for anything.
Yeah, well, our producers, since day one, they really, really, really strive to get the best quality out of the shows, and that includes live musicians. And so there have been hundreds of musicians that have come through SDMT over the past 12 years. And currently, right now, we have 17 musicians in this office space upstairs. And they're really wonderful musicians, and a lot of them have become very close friends of mine.
There are some scene stealers. I'm thinking particularly of Slap That Bass, which just really surprised and delighted me.
Some of the best writing ever, musically. The writing in that number is unbelievable.
Yeah. And, of course, the 2 finales, first scene finale and then the closer, just, brings you to your feet. Anyhow, I should just say, go see it. That's just go see it. San Diego Musical Theater's production, Crazy for You. It's Wednesdays through Sundays now through March 3rd at the Horton Grand. You can get information from our website, and once again, there is a discount for Jazz 88.3 members. And go to jazz88.org for more details. Crazy for You at the Horton Grand Theater. I want to thank Jill Gorrie, the choreographer of Crazy for You, the musical director, Don LeMaster. Thank you both for coming in and break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
It's going to be a great month.
Thank you.
Thank you.